Alrighty, I'm about to give you some advice about starting your first business. And one of the things that you have to do in the beginning is be extremely frugal. There's no big house, there's no fancy car, there's no wild vacations. And let me explain to you why you need to be frugal to start building your future. Now, as you guys have understood in previous videos where I talked about, you start a business and you do not take money out of that business for a year. Now, why is that? First of all, we want to establish new monetary patterns. And this is a really big one. I want you to get used to having money coming in, money in the bank, money on your personal checking, money in your business checking, money on your credit cards. This is a big problem for many people. Many people are not accustomed to having a significant sum. And let's go ahead and say you start your business and number one, we keep our job. And this is something that some people are surprised that I mentioned. And let's go ahead and talk about why are you going to keep your job? You want to start a business, you want to set up a holding company, an operating company, you want to get yourself some business credit, you want to learn how to run a business, you want to start your first online business. If you want to do that, and congratulations to you for being a person that wants more out of life, for being that person that's ready to sit down, do the work so your future can be brighter. I got some for you. Go below and enter into the Corporate Citizen Playbook where we teach you all of that plus a lot more. Because you are not a normal, regular person. You want more out of life. You want to do more, you want to be more, you want to have more. And congratulations to you. So this link is below. Go ahead and check out this video. And then go ahead and enroll in the Corporate Citizen Playbook where I teach you some things that you cannot Google. Can't Google it. Can't Google it at all. You need a place to stay. You need food. Your job covers that. And this is where the business can grow. Let's go ahead and say you start a business, you kept your job, and you've got your finances to a point where it's real easy for that job to pay all of your bills and you have excess income. Then you start a business, whatever kind of business you want to start. And let's say the first month the business generates gross revenue of $2,500. And after you deduct expenses and stuff, you're right at about $1,700 in profit. Now, what you want to do is leave that money in the business. You don't want to take it out. When I started my first successful business, I did not touch that money for about 18 to 22 months. And once again, I want you guys to establish the habit of having money. Establish the habit of making money. And this is why you have to be frugal. Years and years ago, I was extremely frugal. In 2011, 2012, I made that $1.6 million. You know what my monthly living expenses were back then? Like $2,000 per month. I didn't have any bills, I didn't have any student loans, I didn't even have a car payment. I got used to having money in my life. And this is a big thing for you guys to go ahead and establish this new protocol of having money in your life. Because right now, it sounds impossible. Inflation's high, the price of eggs is through the roof, and it's like every time you get some money, you gotta spend it to live. Actually, you don't have to spend that money to live. It's a personal choice. And once you start making better accounting decisions with your money, this is one of the things that's gonna happen. Because I want you to, let's kind of step back in time when I was living in the boarding house. And then let's go ahead and talk about the exit point of the boarding house when I got the job at Rent-A-Crate, when I started to move, I got the job at Rent-A-Crate, I got the job at Panel Systems, I got the job at Business Environments. All that happened in roughly about 20 months. And one of the things that happened was I feel that when I got to Business Environments, I had about $80,000 in the bank because I had developed the habit of saving money. Right now, here on the internet, you'll have people, don't keep money in the bank, invest every penny. I feel that is foolish and overhyped advice because let's say if you're in that 85% of America where your personal single person income is $31,000 a year, you have no money. You have no money in the bank. You have no money in your wallet. You have no excess money. And this is one of the things that's going to allow you to get rich, and it's going to allow you to stay rich. Because once again, you've learned to manage your money. And once you start your first business, I suggest being frugal, especially that first year. I want you to think, you go ahead, you keep your job, you start a business, and your first month you make $2,500, and by the end of the year, you're doing like $10,000 a month in this business. After expenses and stuff, you have a net profit of $7,500. And this is money, because if you do this, you could be literally walking around with $50,000 to $80,000 cash money in the bank before you have to pay taxes, because you got to take the tax man into account. But I want you to think about that. What would it feel like for you to have that kind of money just on tap? Have that kind of money just sitting in a bank account? Have that kind of money on demand? Because here's the thing. You go ahead and you keep your job. You build this business. You get up to $10,000. Unbeknownst to you, you're developing new habits. You're developing the habit to have a substantial amount of money in the bank and not touch it, not spend it, not rack out credit card debt. And this is a very, very important habit for you as a business owner to develop, because this is typically how I upgrade my lifestyle. I will typically make the money for about 2 years to make sure that it's consistent, and then I will upgrade my lifestyle. It's a personal decision, because essentially what happens is most people are just out there living, they're renting or buying a house or buying a car, and what they do is they consciously figure out a way to spend every penny, whether it's on, like personally, this nurse that came on TikTok that was talking about she and her husband who make 6 figures are struggling. I really would like to look at their finances and go ahead and just slap them upside the head. Because I'm going to say this, I don't care if you're in New York, I don't care if you're in California. If you and your husband have a 6-figure income, and I estimate the income to be about $144,000, $150,000, and you're struggling, you are spending money recklessly, and you need to get personal financial accountability. Because here's the thing, and this is one of the things I learned, is once I got that money, and I'm really, really careful with how I allocate the money and how I spend the money. So one of the things that will happen once you develop this habit is you will get like paying bills and stuff. This will become effortless, because once you go ahead and build this business, and let's go ahead and say, you go ahead, you got your job, you start your business. After taxes, you got $50,000 in the bank, and you have a business that has made you $50,000 net profit to pay for taxes. Now, you're in a very, very powerful position, because here's the thing. Now you're in the position to do some options. You know you have a business that works, and now you're in the position where if you wanted to, now you could quit your job. Now, why could you quit your job? You got $50,000 in the bank. You have good financial habits. You manage your money correctly. You have a business that is generating income. So let's go ahead and say first year, you worked hard. You worked a lot of long hours. You went to work, you came home, you worked on your business, you worked weekends, you worked a bunch of crazy hours. And at the end of the year, you've paid your taxes. You've got $50,000 in the bank. What are you going to do? Because now, this is where it gets good. you know you have a business, and you now know that if you go ahead and quit your job and then devote your time to a business that is already successful, you're going to make more money, because now you have preferenced yourself. You have set yourself up for you to go ahead and start running your business. Because here's the thing, you've done this in your off-duty hours. And imagine what will happen is you go ahead, you quit your job, and you start taking those hours that you were devoting to your job and now put them in the business. This is where things become fantastic, because let's say you got up to $10,000 a month, your 12th month, then you're handing your notice, you quit your job, and then you start working in your business full time. Then within 3 months, you start going to $20,000 and $30,000 a month. $30,000 a month, after expenses, you've got $20,000 worth of profit. But you still got that $50,000 in the bank. You see where I'm going? See, you have money on you. And this is the rules of money. You want to have physical cash in your wallet. You want to have money in your bank account, and you want to have money on your credit cards, because this attracts more money. So now you got, let's go ahead and say you used $3,000 to live. So instead of having 50, you've got 47, right? And then your first 3 months, let's say you got 45. You used that money to live, right? Then month 3, you're making $20,000. And then month 4, you make $25,000. And then month 6, month 4 to month 6, you're making $25,000. So you're at a point where your business is able to support itself, and it's able to support you, and you don't have to touch your savings. In fact, you go ahead and it's like, okay, I've been listening to this guy at Personal Capital. My business after expenses is doing $20,000. So what you're going to do is put yourself on a living wage of $10,000. And what you're going to do is go out with ADP. I have the ADP link below if you want to sign up for that. And you're going to start paying yourself a check of $10,000 a month, $5,000 every 2 weeks. And you're going to keep doing that, because you now know this is a sustainable business model that your business can uphold. And now your first year in business, you make $120,000 plus, because you put yourself on salary, then you turn your corporation into an S Corp, and then you take the rest of the money out without paying the 16% in payroll taxes. You just pay federal taxes on it. So let's go ahead and say you made $120,000 in salary, and then you gave yourself $80,000 in distributions. That puts your income at $200K. A year prior, you was working a $30,000 a year job. You see the power of having proper money management, the power of being frugal in the beginning. In the beginning, that year I did 1.6 million. I had a car that was paid off. It was a 525i. No, it was the 540 BMW, 525. I had a lot of BMWs, but it was the 540. It was paid for. I didn't have any credit card debt. And I was able to actually have the money in the bank and look toward the future on one of the things that I want to do and one of the things I want to get set up. So being frugal in the beginning is very, very important for your financial future. Be really frugal. Start practicing extreme money management habits so your future can be extremely bright. Now, if you want some assistance and you're not broke, Dick Danny, go below, fill out the questions, and book yourself a phone call where we could bring you into the Corporate Citizen Playbook, where we can accelerate this process and make sure that your future is bright and shiny. All right, that's all I got for you guys today. I will see you guys in the next video.